Alright everyone, welcome back. So we got another game that was sent in, so this time it's going to be a little bit interesting, kind of fun for me. So this game was sent in by ChaserGT, and he's rated as 1327, and here's the interesting part. So he was playing me in this game. This is interesting, a little bit different. I actually get to be one of the sides that's in the game. So yeah, so he's playing as the white pieces, and I was playing as the black pieces. So yeah, this is going to be a fun one, because we also get to see the annotations from both sides, which will add a little bit of something to this. Okay, so we have e4, he plays e4. Alright, and then I play c6. So usually I don't play the Caro-Kann, but I thought that might be a little fun to try something different out for a change. Okay. d4, d5, knight c3, d takes, knight takes e, and bishop to f5. So, this is just a normal Caro-Kann. A lot of players I know like this as black, because they don't really get any real weaknesses, usually. And usually that's kind of some of the reason why, is just because it's pretty solid, and it's difficult for white to break down sometimes. Knight g3, bishop g6, h4, h6. Obviously, if you don't play h6, h5 is going to happen, so h6, knight f3, knight d7, h5, so bishop to h7, and all this, just theory. Bishop d3, bishop takes, queen takes. Okay, and right here, Chaser writes that the book says this is the main line, but I'm nervous about moving the queen out so soon. Okay, and so with this being said, I'm going to say something here about this position. So we already talked about what was good for white, or no, what's good for black. We already talked about what was good for black, right? So we mentioned that no real weaknesses in the position. Very, very solid setup. Okay. But now here is the good things for white. So first off, so black did get less weaknesses, but what does white have in exchange? He has a lead in development. So the queen being out, and these knights, this is a slight lead in development. So that's good for white. 3-1. So, this one knight on d7. The other thing is usually white has a little bit of a space advantage. Notice this pawn on d4, a little bit more space in the center. And also notice that this h-pawn is advanced. So, again, maybe later on that turns out to be a weakness, but it does also gain space on the king side. And another thing is the queen being out does add on the ability to castle queenside earlier. Because think about it, now you already got the queen out of the way, so now you only need to get the bishop out of the way. And most of the time in the Caro-Kann, this variation, you'll go queenside, because you don't want to go kingside after your h-pawn is advanced. And also if black castles kingside, then you can have potential attacking possibilities. And that's really the best chance for a win in most cases. Okay, so the queen being out is actually kind of a good thing in this position. So you really don't have to worry about bringing the queen out early. Alright, okay. So next move, I play e6, bishop d2. Yeah, it's kind of actually funny, because this is actually what I play most of the time as white against black. I mean, I've tried different ideas, but recently this is what I've been using, so it's kind of funny that I'm playing the exact opposite side of it. Okay, and then Chaser, he goes and castles queenside. And a lot of the times in the Caro-Kann, black will castle kingside. But I feel like white actually gets a pretty decent attack, so I'm going to go with queen to c7, and then this idea I've seen in a couple of Karpov games, where he would just go queenside, and then it's a little bit difficult to attack sometimes. Knight e4, castling queenside. And here we have what, g3. Okay, knight takes, queen takes, knight takes. Alright, yeah, so you're trying to get a piece or two off because I have less space, taking away some of the difficulties. Sometimes if you have a little bit less space, getting off a piece or two can help you out. Okay, bishop d6. And then c4, c5, since I don't want to allow white to be able to play c5. c5 for white, that's just pretty good. Okay, so c5, bishop c3, c takes, knight takes, a6. Yeah, don't want to let b5, don't want to let this knight to b5, because that would be very annoying. You know, queen and bishop here, so it's just a6 to prevent that. King b1, rook to d7. Yeah, so I believe here I wanted the double rooks, since that's probably the best way to improve. Okay, rook c1, king to b8, knight b3, and bishop to e7. Yeah, so this was actually a mistake on my part. I probably shouldn't have done this, because I should have just thought about bishop to c5 here. And so here's the thing. So if I just go here, then he can play c5. He can play his pawn to c5, and then there's ideas of c6, and then he also has potentials for bishop to e5. But with bishop on e5, then that could be irritating, and so I have to watch out for some ideas like that, and that probably would have been a little bit better for him. So I probably shouldn't have retreated that bishop. My idea was let open the rook, but probably not so great, because if this pawn gets to c6, that could kind of disrupt my king, because he's already lacking some pawn cover. So probably he could have tried out an idea like that, and then my king wouldn't be so happy. Okay, but g4, king a8, f3, rook c8, knight to a5. Okay, so here Chaser wrote that minor mistake here, going to lose tempo when he plays b6. Knight a5 is a little bit of a mistake, and oh, okay, actually wait, he just wrote minor mistake here, I'm going to lose tempo when he plays b6. I forgot to say that is where his quote ends. That's where what he wrote ends. And then knight a5 is me now. Knight a5 is a little bit of a mistake, and in addition, my next move was a slight inaccuracy. I just want to make sure that you know that's where he stopped. Yeah, that way I don't have the quotes all messed up. Okay, knight a5, yeah. So I play b6. That's a slight inaccuracy for me to play. It's not actually that great, because he doesn't have to play knight to b3 here. He could have tried out some other ideas. He could have tried out bishop to e5, I believe. So bishop to e5. And then if queen c5, he can retreat the knight to b3 and not lose tempo by hitting the queen. Yeah, something like this, because can't take. Okay. Alright, so knight a5, b6, knight b3. Yeah, so you don't always have to necessarily just retreat. Sometimes you can find other opportunities, like like the bishop d5. You don't have to just react. So that may have been a better try. Maybe slightly better. Okay. Queen takes c4. Queen takes. Rook takes. Bishop takes on f6. Okay, so let's just go through these next few moves pretty quickly here until I get to the next thing I wanted to mention. Okay, next move. Okay, yeah, so just a bunch of moves here. Some exchanging. rook c2, rook d1. Okay, so I played rook to d1 because I wanted to try to see what choice he would make. So he plays the right choice, by the way. Rook c1, better choice. But I just threw in this trick just to see what choice he would make. So if, say, knight c1, then his position's a little bit more passive. And then, rook f1, and he's kind of just a bit passive, can't really do anything to stop me. From just, taking that pawn, maybe. So if knight to c1, I was just testing him. He made the right choice, though. But I like to give my opponents chances to make mistakes whenever I can. So, no harm in at least seeing what they do. Okay. Rook to d3, though. That way, I'm going after the pawn. Rook d3, rook to f1, rook e3. And then here's the first real, mistake. So he played really well throughout this entire game for his rating. He actually is only down a pawn, which, even being a pawn up, it's kind of difficult sometimes to realize just a single pawn. So until this point, he's actually not, incredibly lost or anything. He's not, completely lost, because he's only down one pawn. But a3. Yeah, and then it's just not really too difficult to realize a win after you go down after you've gone down a piece. It's difficult to hold on. So yeah, just a few more moves here. Rook to rook takes, king takes. And after king takes a3, I got these two passed pawns. So here is where Chaser writes, at this point I can't stop a queen promotion, the king on one side and bishop the other, so good game. Okay, so that's the last writing. So yeah, this was a very good game, though. He played really well up until later in the game. Until late in the game, he actually kept things pretty even. But yeah, it's a good game. Very good play for his rating for 1327. Okay. Yeah, the one thing that I do want to bring up, so I always like to have a teaching point, right around here. So knight to a5. After b6, this was actually kind of an inaccuracy on my part. I had made other mistakes as well, but sometimes if your opponent makes a threat, you don't always have to react. Sometimes finding another move will work, Maybe make a threat of your own that's bigger, bishop to e5, because then, then I'm having to react to the moves of white instead of being able to just do whatever I want. And if queen c5 or, maybe somewhere else, still the position's, more active for white sometimes. And, after this, it's just not losing as much of tempo. You're not losing as much, and it's still a bit better for white. So, avoid reacting when you don't have to. That's probably the last thing I have to say for this game. But, very good game. Great play by white. He did very good job for 1327 once again, though. So, yeah. So, that's going to be it for this viewer game. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching this game. Send me more games, everyone.